Hello, everyone. I'm not sure if everyone's able to hear me well. So, if somebody can confirm that yes, they can hear me well, then we can start our today's session, which is on buying property in Canada as a foreign buyer. If you are overseas and if you want to buy a property here in Canada, what are some of the pros and cons, or how you can do it? What is the advantage of doing it? Is it really possible? Because there have been a lot of changes which have been happening this year, a lot of new rules which are being announced this year. So, what all has really been put in effect and what are still just rumors? We're going to talk about all that in this session today. So, if somebody can confirm me that yes, you can hear me well, that we can start with our buying property in Canada as a foreign buyer session. Okay. So perfect. I got a confirmation from one of our viewers, listeners, that yes, you guys can hear me well. So today, let's talk about somebody who's not in Canada, or let's say who is in Canada, or their kids are in Canada, they're studying here, they are here on a work permit, and the parents are still overseas, but they want to buy a property. Um, there are certain factors whether you can buy it when you're on a work permit, whether you can buy it when you are a student on a study permit, or let's say you don't have a status in Canada, but there are reasons why you want to still invest in Canada. Is it possible or not? So I have some very good points shortlisted, which I'm going to share with you all. So overview of this session will be the real estate in Canada is actually regulated provincially. So we will be focusing of buying in, let's say, Toronto, Greater Toronto area, or Ontario as a province. The rules around foreign buyers real estate in Canada aren't related to any citizenship. So regardless of what your status is, there are different ways how you can buy, or is it the same deposit structure, same interest rate? This is what we're going to talk about. Although we have a foreign buyer tax in place when you are buying a property in the we call it horseshoe area. So when you're buying it in the golden horseshoe region, there is a foreign buyer tax that implies, but we will go in detail shortly about that as well. In this entire session, we will touch on some important factors when you're buying a home, while whether you're studying here, working here, or you're planning to come here in near future. So going further, the Toronto real estate market overall has strong price appreciation. I'm sure which you all must have seen in the near future or in the past few years, that every few months, every few years, we experience a great price increase, a great appreciation with a lot of employment opportunities here in GTA, whether we talk about the IT sector or the medical sector or whichever sector you want to pick. There are some great employment opportunities always here in Toronto, or if I talk about the entire Ontario province. Because of that, a lot of price appreciation happens because there's always demand. There are major universities, colleges here in GTA. So a lot of people are always coming from different countries and landing in the province of Ontario, which increases the demand, which increases the price. Obviously, it's just connected. So for example, we take a student who's coming here to start his life. He wants to set up his career here. They study here for 2 years, 3 years, then they get their work permit, and then they decide to get on with their PR. A lot of parents, when they send their students here, already want to buy something. Whether it's pre construction, resale, or commercial, they just want to have some piece of land so that it helps them in the near future whenever their kids want to settle as a permanent resident or a citizenship. But let's talk about the foreign buyer tax in the Greater Horseshoe region, because I think that is the common question that I get all the time about the tax implication when you're buying as a foreign buyer. As of April 2022, our non resident speculation tax, which we also call as NRST, was overhauled. So earlier, it was, for example, if you are buying a home in the greater Golden Horseshoe region, you would pay 15%. But it was increased to 20% in Ontario whenever you're buying as a foreign buyer. So this is one major change that happened in this year, April 2022, that the tax, foreign buyer tax, went up from 15 to 20%. But it's still not like you cannot buy, you can still buy, but this was a major change that happened. Now, what type of property can foreigners buy? As such, I don't think there is a lot of difficulty whether you can buy this, you cannot buy this. As a foreign buyer, you can purchase condos, you can purchase detached homes, semi-detached homes, luxury homes, commercial properties, farms. Yes, farms are also included. Somebody asked me that. And you can buy vineyards and much more. However, there are some limitations, there are some restrictions on that, but overall, if we think of as a general buyer, foreign buyer, residential, commercial, condos, detached, semi-detached, all that is covered, and you can buy any of that whenever you want to buy as a foreign buyer. There are some multi-residential properties, which are, let's say, a building, a small building that has 6 units or more is considered as a multi-residential property that is exempted from the foreign buyer tax. So if somebody is investing in a multi-residential building, then you will be exempted from that foreign buyer tax. This is altogether a separate topic and we can go in detail probably in our next session. But now, next, let's talk about the Toronto residential taxes. I am seeing a lot of questions in the chat window, but as soon as I'm done with these important points, then we will take all our questions one on one. This is just easier for me so I don't break my flow. So let's talk about the Toronto residential taxes. In GTA, we pay annual property taxes based on the assessed value of the property. So at that point of time, every year, whatever the assessed value, market value of that property is, taxes are usually calculated based on that, and it's approximately in between 0.75 to 1%, again, depending on the area, depending on the neighborhood. So the city calculated based on all these factors, but it's roughly in between 0.75 to 1% assessed value of your home. In Ontario, there are no additional land taxes for foreign home buyers. However, Toronto and Oakville have currently a vacancy tax for properties which are vacant. So just in Toronto and Oakville, we see this vacancy tax. Otherwise, it's not applicable anywhere else. So next topic, which I usually get a lot of questions on, is non-residential collecting rent in Canada. So if you're a foreign buyer, you bought a property. Now the next question is, how about the rent? How about we collect rent? What happens to that rent? Is it taxed? Is it considered our income? Are we supposed to pay something on that? Or how do we collect that? So if you are a non-resident collecting rent on property in Canada, or specifically Ontario, as we're talking about the province of Ontario today, your income is subject to a 25% withhold tax on the gross rent you received. So again, it is 20, your income is subject to 25% withhold tax on the gross rent that you have received. Now, if you choose, you can file taxes with the CRA and have that amount reduced by showing your expenses, all the expenses that you've occurred on the property. And some examples of these expenses, which are claimable, is the mortgage payment, property taxes, your maintenance fee, some repairs, maintenance that you have done on the property. So all these expenses you can use to claim and then reduce your income, just like we do when we're filing our taxes. And to claim your income on your rental property as a foreign buyer, you must file a form which is NR6 with the CRA. So once again, I'll repeat, there are some claimable expenses when you're buying here in Canada as a foreign buyer. You can file taxes, you have to report that income, but you can reduce it by showing the legitimate expenses, which include your mortgage payment, maintenance, repairs, property taxes, and there are some other, there's this list as well. But to claim income as a foreign buyer on your rental property, you must file NR6 with the CRA, and this has to be approved by the CRA. So, of course, your accountant, whosoever you're working with here, can definitely help you to go in detail about that. The next thing is financing available for foreign buyers in Canada? So let's say if you want to buy, usually we as residents, we are used to buying a property when we pay 15%, 20%, or 10% down, and remaining we get the loan from bank, we get the mortgage, and we buy. But I know a lot of countries like India, China, Hong Kong, they are used to buying property without any loan. They want to pay it all down. They want to buy it cash. But some people still want to know if they want financing as an international buyer, as a foreign buyer, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. There is financing available for foreign buyers in Ontario. In lieu of Canadian income, the lender will ask for a larger down payment. Just for example, I was saying as a Canadian resident, I would have to pay 10%, 15%, or 20% depending on my income. You, as a foreign buyer, would have to pay at least 35% down to in order to get the mortgage. The banks wants to have some sort of safety that yes, if you are putting 35% down, they can give you a loan for the remaining so that they're safe. It's not like 5% and it's a high risk mortgage when they are lending you 95%. With 35%, it's considered safe and secure. So moving forward, in compared to other countries, thankfully, the interest rates for foreign buyers are very similar to the low interest rates available in Canadian for Canadian residents. However, recently we did experience some increase in the interest rates for Canadians, but I personally feel like we're still far better compared to the rates that you see in India, for example. The interest rates that you will pay on the mortgage here is far less than what it is there. There used to be a time when we were originally in Canada at six or a little over six, but after that, in the last 2 to 3 years, the interest rates were really, really low. And I think COVID did play a major role in that. To support the economy, government did decrease the rate a lot, but now they're again bringing it back. So the crazy prices of the properties, which we were seeing back in January, February, are stabilizing and the market is stabilizing overall. So the interest rates are very similar to what we pay and what the foreign buyer would have to pay. Now, where do you look for properties if you want to buy in Toronto or anywhere in GTA? In Ontario, brokerages and agents pull up all their listings, which means properties. We call it listings when we want to sell it out in the market. On a system which is called multiple listing system. It's an app, it's a software, it's called MLS. We overall use savemax.com. You can view all the listings anywhere in GTA, anywhere in Toronto, Mississauga, Brampton, Oakville on this website, savemax.com. And this website is updated every 15 minutes. So it's very easy to see whatever all the agents are pulling up on MLS, it automatically comes to this website on savemax.com and you can check all the live listings there on this website. Um, all houses for sale are pulled into a shared database, which all agents and all people who are interested in buying can view and can show to their clients. So if agents are watching the session from anywhere, you can still access the website savemax.com and you can check all the listings. All you need here is just one agent who can help you prepare an offer, submit an offer on your behalf, get you a deal done. So as long as you know one real estate agent, you're able to check all the properties that are available anywhere in GTA. Now, let's say you like a property. What are some key factors that you keep in mind before placing an offer? Prior to placing an offer, make sure you transfer funds to a Canadian bank or you have one or the other means of putting the down payment as soon as you're putting an offer. Depending on the country of origin, it might take up to 2 weeks for the money to be clear from a Canadian bank. There's usually some holds when you deposit some money, so make sure you're well prepared. Give it at least 2 to 3 weeks before you put an offer. Since the average listing sells in a week to 10 days in today's market, I can say it's about 15 to 18 days average days. We recommend transferring your funds before you even start your search. Now, let's say purchasing while you are outside the country. Today, trust me, today, it's easier than it was ever before to buy a house from anywhere you are. Even we sitting here in Canada, we're used to the trend now that we're not going anywhere to sign. Signing comes to you. It comes to you wherever you are, wherever you're sitting, to your home, to you're vacationing. You just sit on a computer. You have internet access. You check what you want. Your agent will prepare an offer, and the signing will come to you remotely, and you can finalize everything remotely. Even doing the closing parts, the things with a lawyer when the name is being transferred, those papers have started getting signed virtually as well. So it's very easy for you, if you are overseas, to buy anywhere here in Ontario. Almost all listings, when I say all, have professional pictures and videos, very high end videos, virtual tours, floor plans available online when we put the property out for sale. With FaceTime, Skype, or WhatsApp video or Zoom links, you can virtually see the property in and out. There are some 3D tours, there are some high level Oculus that people have started using that will show you the property in real time at how the property is going to look and you can experience it. But since as a foreign buyer, I'm expecting a lot of you are buying it as an investment property. And from that point of view, as long as you're able to see the floor plan, you can visualize it, you can see the brochure, you can see the features and finishes, what it's going to look like. I think that that's more than enough. To sign the mortgage documents, as I was saying, and close on the home on the last final day, you're required, some lawyers do require to be in the country, and some lawyers will do it using a power of attorney as well. Now, the power of attorney can easily be done overseas, but the original documents needs to be couriered to a reputable lawyer in Toronto. So, depending on which law firm you're using, you would have to courier the original documents to the lawyer's office here. Let's say your offer is accepted. It's a common practice to present a non-negotiable check payable within 24 hours of an acceptable offer. You put an offer, the other party accepted it, you will have 24 hours to put a bank draft. Usually a bank draft is required. And that's why I was saying it's good that you have transferred the funds to a Canadian bank 2 weeks prior to the offer. So now you have the funds available, and whatever deposit has been decided when you were negotiating the offer, you would have to give the first bank draft of that deposit within the 24 hours. International clients can opt to do a wire transfer instead of a bank draft if the listing brokerage you're dealing with has the specific trust account that is needed. And if the listing brokerage does allow, you can actually do a wire transfer as well, but it completely depends on the listing brokerage who is selling that particular property. Another question I get is about the insurance. After purchasing a property, but prior to closing, so in the between time you need to find insurance. Because when the lawyer is closing it, he would need to see the insurance before he closes the property with you. It is a condition on the mortgage for your home, so you have to have insurance on the home before you close it. What does it cost to buy a property in Canada? And I know price is always the major concern. But before we talk about the price, let's talk about the costs that are involved when you are closing a property. Just because we were talking about the insurance, the lawyer, so the closing costs of a home on top of the purchase price that you have paid is anywhere in between 2 to 4% of the purchase price. Now, there are no additional levies or fees for international buyers if you're buying a resale home, except for foreign buyer tax that applies to speculators. But if you are buying pre construction, let's say you're buying something which you're booking today, we present you a project, we tell you, okay, this is in Hamilton, for example. This is a building, it's going to be a 31-story building. There are going to be this many number of units. There are the floor plans. There is studio, 1 bed, 2 bed, and 3 bed. And you chose you want to go with a 2 bedroom, 2 washroom unit. This is the purchase price. Let's say the purchase price is 700,000. Now, there's no property tax, there's no closing cost, there's no maintenance fee up until you actually close it, which is all the way in 2027 from this example. So in 2027, when you actually come to closing, that's when there are some development charges, some levies, but those were indicated at the time of purchase today. So you would know if your unit is 2 bedroom, there your price is 700,000, but there is a development charge, but there's a cap on it. Let's say it's $12,000. Capping the development charges means when you're actually closing your property in 2027, there might be an increase in price from anywhere in between $0 to $12,000 as the builder capped it on $12,000. Now these development charges, or sometimes we call them levies, is because in between all these years, the cost of material could go high, or the construction cost could go high. Something or the other in the building changes while builder is doing it. So he cannot speculate exactly how much it will be. So there is an average number that every purchaser might have to pay additional 5,000, 6,000, or at the max $12,000 since it is capped at $12,000. So in pre-construction only, there's always development charges. But if you're buying a resale property, let's say I'm selling my house today, you bought it from me, and we decide on a price that it'll be 1.8 million. At the time of closing, it is 1.8 million. There are no additional levies or development charges on top of that. So now, when you are buying or selling, there is commission of real estate agents, which is involved. Since I mentioned you need one agent to look for anything and everything for you, the seller pays both commission for both sides. So if I'm selling, I have an agent, and the buyer who's buying, the buyer has an agent. So the commission goes from the party who's selling to both the parties. So the negotiation happens based on that, keeping the commission segment in picture. Now, hiring an agent to help you make your purchase will likely cost you absolutely nothing, zero. You can do your due diligence. You can check which agents are available in the area, who's doing how much, who's generating more sales, who's doing less, who's more knowledgeable about the area. And when they come, they talk to you, especially if you're a buyer, you're not paying anything to them. They will get paid from the selling side. The listing brokerage who's selling will already have negotiated the commission that they're going to charge the seller. A portion of it goes to the buyer's agent, and remaining left with the listing agent. So as a buyer, there's a win-win situation for you to have somebody on your side who can do all the paperwork for you, who can do all the search for you, who knows about the area, who can make sure that when they are preparing an offer, they put all the required clauses so that you are safe and the purchase you're making is completely secure. There are no surprises after you get the key and you enter the property and you get to know, oh, the property had some sort of lien on it, or there was a death in the house before, which matters to some and doesn't matter to some. But it is always important to know beforehand what you're stepping into. So as an agent, we can do a lot of digging, a lot of research about the property before you put an offer on that property. So these are some of the very important factors when we talk about buying as a foreign buyer. We can look at some of the questions now, and let's see what are some of the questions. A lot of people have sent hello. Sorry, I didn't look at them before, but hello Jyoti, hello Pooja. Thank you for confirming that you guys can hear me. Okay, I see Nidhi Gupta ji there as well. Thank you. Um, okay, so there is a question that they're saying. Let's read. So it's saying NRST, the non-residential speculation tax, is in addition to Ontario land transfer tax. So there are, for example, Toronto, yes, there is a specific land transfer tax, but it is not applicable in all the cities in Ontario. But the NRST tax is there, yes. Okay, so there's a question from Hiren. Is it mandatory to buy property on loan instead of paying full amount in cash or by check? No, it's not mandatory. You can buy a property without taking any loan if you have the full amount with you. The only thing is you have to, make sure that you have enough funds available in a bank account and you have proof where those funds are coming from. It's not like you can just deposit the money into bank account today and just give them a check or give them all cash. But yes, I have seen people picking up a property without getting a loan from a bank, so you can buy it. Okay. Somebody also said that I'm looking beautiful, but thank you so much. Okay. And Mr. Suresh Chaudhary saying I would like to do work with Save Max. Absolutely, you're more than welcome. You can get in touch with our team. Kamal Tomar is somebody you can speak to about that, and then he can guide you further. So let's say, do we have more questions? Hello, Sonia. Hello, Asif. So, okay, I do see some common questions, so I'll go over the deposit part again, as a lot of you are messaging about that. So, when you are buying as a foreign buyer, the down payment that you need is a minimum of 35% in order for any bank to give you a loan. Or let's say if you're buying pre-construction and you're buying something from a builder, you have to pay 35% down, but that 35% doesn't have to go all together if it's pre-construction. it is always in smaller payments. For example, 5% will go with the offer, 5% will go 3 months later, then next 10% will go 6 months later, then another five probably 2 years later. So because you're booking today, closing is 5 to 6 years down the line, the builder gives you very extended deposit structure, about 1.5 to 2 years timeline to pay that to 35%. And then for the remaining, you can either take the loan or you can decide how you want to close. Also, as investors, if you're looking as an investment property, there is a clause called assignment sale. So you book something today. Now in 2025, you say, you know what, I don't want to close it. I don't want to go get a mortgage. I just bought it in order to make some money. I bought it for 600,000. It's already at 800,000. I only gave 10% deposit. No expenses, no maintenance, no property taxes, nothing. I want to get out of the purchase. I have assignment clause, meaning you can sell it before closing. So you bought from the builder, now you have a new buyer. So the name, basically it's just transfer of name. You bought a property from builder, you kept it for 2 years, now you're transferring the title to me. I will be the one who's closing it 2 years down the line. You as an investor booked it, got the appreciation, got the deposit back you paid, you're happy. The new buyer who wants to buy to live in will actually go and close it with the builder. It's called assignment clause. Okay, there's another question from Shivang. Hi, Shivang. A lot of investors from India are keen onto investing in Canada purely on ROI basis. What do you suggest is the appropriate way to go about it? Commercial or a residential property being rented out? India has around 6 to 8% ROI on commercial. How about Canada? You're absolutely right. There are a lot of people we talk to on daily basis who are interested in investing in Canada. And once again, the reason for that is the employment, the quality of life, except the snow part, which I don't like too much. But yes, the major college, universities, a lot of people, a lot of families want their kids to move here. So, in compared to commercial and residential, to what you're asking, Shivang, I would say personally, residential is a better option for somebody who's investing here, and especially as a first time investor. Once you have a good portfolio of different investment properties, you have a detached property, you have a house, and then next you have a condo, you have invested in two, three different properties. After that, you can look into going into the commercial segment because commercial is a very, very long term gain. It's not like you invest in commercial today, next year you'll be able to get some money out of it. So residential is always a better option to start with because you can see some return on your investment right away. Especially when we talk about the houses, you buy something today, depending on the market, you will see within the 6 to 8 months, you will see the return on investment. But let's say we talk about pre-construction, it's easier to pay, it's extended deposit structure, it's longer time, you'll see the return before even closing. In commercial, it will take 5, 6, 7 years before you can actually think about moving that property. The ROI, honestly speaking, I would say it's anywhere about similar, not 6 to 8%. I've seen it anywhere in between 10 to 12% when the market is performing really well. If we talk about today's market, which is in current situation right now, it has stabilized a little bit, but still, especially I've seen it more with pre-construction that you will see at least anywhere between 15 to 16% return. But resale properties tend to give you return faster. Pre-construction takes a little bit more time because you're not closing it, you're not paying the full price right away, you're only paying a small chunk of deposit. So you'll see the appreciation on the deposit quickly compared to commercial properties. I hope I answered your question. But to sum it up, yes, investing in Canada, I would say residential is better to start with. You can either go with pre-construction if you want to pay deposit in smaller chunks. If you have the money available readily, right away, then you can go for resale houses and close them right away, rent it out, and start seeing the appreciation within months. Now, here's another question. I heard that there is a ban for non-residents for 2 years to buy property in Canada. Well, yes, it's been announced. However, there are some loopholes. There are certain properties that's exempted. So there are still possibilities that a lot of foreign buyers can buy. You can still buy pre-construction. We haven't seen it in writing that It is banned already that you cannot book any condo, any building, or any unit with the builders. Builders are still doing it. They haven't, it is not there on paper yet. And the other very good option is vacation homes. Some sort of cottages. There are specific types of these vacation homes which are exempted, so you can still buy if you are a foreign buyer, or let's say you have somebody who's here on a study permit or who's here on a work permit, they are still allowed to buy. So a lot of parents overseas who have their kids studying here or working here, you guys can very easily still buy. There's no ban for you guys as of yet. Okay, let's see. Okay, so Soham is asking, how does agents build 25, 50, 100 unit portfolio in real estate? How much average time does it take to build 10 real estate unit portfolio? Completely depends on how you do your business. How much of a risk taker are you? I don't know if that 50, 100 unit portfolio is that common number. Yes, people do own multiple properties here, and not only real estate agents. A regular individual who, let's say, is a doctor, is an IT professional, can own multiple properties. You just need to know how to manage your portfolio. And that's where we come in picture, that we can help you build that portfolio. But how people are buying multiple properties is pre-construction. If you want to buy multiple resale houses, it will be difficult because you can only close so many. But when you're buying pre-construction, you don't have to close all of them at the same time. I can book 5 units today if I have the deposit, if I have the down payment to give to the builder, but I have to make sure that all five are closing at different time. So if my one condo is closing in January 2023, I will have to make sure that the other one is closing in September, October 2023. So there has to be a 6 to 8 month gap if I want to close all of them. I book multiple units, I don't close all of them, I sell them on assignment. So you can say at one point of time, yes, I own 10 units, but am I going to close all of them? No. I'm going to sell half of them on assignment. I'm going to close half of them, maybe put them on rent, or maybe I'll sell all of them on assignment. So that's how you have to manage your portfolio. It always has to be, diversified. It cannot be all, just in one place, in one city, one type. It has to be different timelines. Some could be pre-construction, some could be detached homes, resale homes that you can close and rent out and then keep it that way. The other very good way is to having a corporation. So instead of doing it all as an individual, you can open up a corporation for, if you want to be a full-time investor in real estate. You can do it having a real estate corporation, and you can manage the properties under that. A lot of people partner up together instead of one person doing it. When they open up a corporation, they bring 4, 5, 6 different partners together, and that's why that way you have multiple people to take the liability on, and you can do more and more based on that. Okay. Okay, Zahid is asking, can we come to Canada by investing in property? If so, how much investment should be made in the property? Unfortunately, as I mentioned in the session earlier, buying property has no direct connection to getting citizenship or getting a permit to come to Canada. A lot of people do invest here so that it is easier for them in the future to show some connection when you are applying, that you've invested in the country, you really want to move here, you already have a property, your kids are here or your kids are coming with you. But there's no such thing that if you own specific investment here in Canada, based on that you can get immigration status. So it's more for like an investment point of view, that yes, you can invest, but it's not going to help you directly in some sort of immigration status. Okay, Soham is saying, I have commented in Rice with Drummond channel. Please reply. I'm not sure if I can see that right now. If you can put your comment here, then I can definitely answer. Um, okay. Hi, Selena. Is it okay? Mr. Dam is asking, is it a good time to buy property now or early next year? Well, as I was saying, due to the recent increase in interest rates here, the market is stabilized a little bit. The prices which were there in January, February, especially when we talk about detached houses or semi-detached houses, resale properties, the crazy prices we were seeing in January, February are not there anymore. With the increased interest rates, the prices have definitely stabilized. They have definitely come down. And that is why you're seeing a lot of investors out there in the market buying properties, because whenever the market is on a lower side, that is when buyers, investors want to take advantage. So I would say this is a good time to buy. Again, this is buyer's market. So for sellers, yes, you could wait out a little bit. But again, if you look at it from a different angle, because it is a good time to buy, there are buyers out there, but there are not that many properties. So if you are looking to sell, you can make some advantage there. But if you compare it back to January, February, it is definitely a very, very good time to buy. The property which has a genuine value of 1.1 million, there were offers up to 1.4 just because of the market. But now, if the actual fair market value is 1.1, you can actually get it for 1.1. You don't have to fight that much in between the multiple offers and pay that much of an amount when it's actually 1.1 and people ended up paying 1.4. So it is, I would say it's definitely a very, very good time to buy. Can't say that for selling, but for buying, yes. Okay, Tanisha is saying this is a really informative session. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tanisha. I think you missed some part. Yes, you can hear this later as well. This will be there on Facebook on our channel. So you can go back there and then you can listen to the first part again. All right. I think we've answered. I'm sorry if I missed any of the question. Amarjot is saying, I heard that there is a ban for non-residents for 2 years to buy. Yes, we talked about it. It hasn't really been effective in writing as of yet. So a lot of foreign buyers are still taking advantage of it. They're still booking their properties, whether it's pre-construction or whether it's resale. Most likely, it will be in effect from January 2023. But again, we don't know. So far, it says January 2023, but before that, all the foreign buyers can buy any type of property that they're looking to buy. But even after, if you have somebody here on study permit, work permit, they can go ahead and buy, or you can buy properties like uh, cottages, vacation homes. Yeah, these are exempted from there. Okay, I am getting a signal that my time is almost up. So if anybody has any other question, just let us know. We can still answer it later on. I can put, some people have asked about working with SaveMax. So I'm going to put Kamal's number here so you can talk to him. And I can put my number too. So if you guys want to discuss anything with me later on, we can do that as well. Let me just find the number for Kamal so you guys can reach Kamal at 416 8747. And if you want to reach out to me in regards to anything about foreign buyers or how to invest in pre-construction, how to book something with the builders, which area should we book in, we're planning to come to Canada 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line. Should we book it now? Should we wait? How can we do a pre-construction transaction? There are a lot of buyers, a lot of people who invest with us, with the builders from India, China, Hong Kong, Bangladesh. There are a lot of people from different countries who are buying property here through builders pre-construction, so that whenever you, your kids, your family is planning to move, you already have something that you can say that yes, whether you sell it at that time, take out the money and then buy a home for yourself to live in, or whether you decide to keep it, your kids can use it when they're going to college, universities. So there are so many things that can be done. If you have some funds available, you want to invest, you can get in touch with me and my team. I am putting my number there. So when you reach out to this number, just ask for Lashika and we will definitely reach out to you as soon as we can. Okay, I think we're good to go. So I hope this session was informative for all of you. Was all about how a foreign buyer can buy something in Canada here. Any questions, anything, you can let us know, and we can cover all of that in our next session, which is again on Saturday at 12 p.m. And anything specific for Mr. Raman, you can ask him there. He will be joining us next Saturday as well. I hope I did a good job in his absence, and I did a good informative session for you guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Stay safe, stay healthy.